Edward. It's Saturday, June 10th, I believe it's the 10th. Ann and I wanted to send out a short update prior to tomorrow's call at 6. Just some things that we're holding, we've been kind of weighing, and I guess this would be in the scope of homework that we would ask all of you to work on between now and then. We've seen a lot of stuff bleeding through in the spirit, and I really can't put my finger on it and say that it's directly related to any one of you or any of the relations that we know. I'm not really exactly sure where it's coming through. I'm quite thankful that we've had such an increase of angelic protection. I've never had this much in a given period of time than I've known. And it's very interesting because the assault has been very direct, and I'm thinking, well, Lord, this is interesting. Had we not had angelic protection, I suppose I'd be over on the other side by now. So anyway, we're very thankful for that. I know Ann was picking up some of the signs today as well, and which was good that she was. She's been picking these things up as well. Otherwise, I told her, I said, had you not been picking some of these various signs up, I'd be wondering whether I have some arterial issues going on here, because it has been direct assault, which manifests against the heart, and so it's been very interesting. So I know that things are ramping up, and they'll continue to ramp up. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for all of us to grow up more quickly, and all of us. Just like, you know, it's kind of like just looking at the child and say, grow up more quickly. Grow, do it. I'm looking myself in the mirror and I'm saying the same thing. I know that the last meeting we had, it was a blessing, but I know that it took half the meeting to break things open in the spirit, and it didn't necessarily catch us off guard, because it just didn't seem to break by the time the call came on. And so what we would really ask of all of you is that and I know that you have, but we'll just voice it, that when you come to the call, that you really clean yourself off, break the contacts, break the bonds, just jettison anything that you might be carrying, and just really pray over our connection time. I know that the intensity and the violence of our spirit has got to come up a couple more notches. And Jeff had sent over something that was in the archives, a word on intensity. It's a short word, but it is a blessing, so it will be posted. It'll be up, I'm sure, by the time you see this video. So do take a minute and read it. I know that what we're looking for is just to continue to close down the back door openness that exists. And it was like I was telling a gentleman last night that the more we progress in God, the higher our vibration comes up, and the more sensitive you are. And so you could apply a certain truth on one level, but as you come up to another level, it's you have to kind of go back through again. It's like dealing with bonds and contacts. You can deal with them on the level you're on, but as you come up to a higher level of spiritual sensitivity, you will see another layer, and you have to go back in and deal with it again. And that will be, that's like layers of an onion. It's going to be over and over and over as you continue to just really get totally clean. And I say we, it's Ann and I as well, because everything is predicated on your ability to see. I expect much deeper breakthroughs for us. Let me read a couple notes of some things I've been reading, and we'll delve into this word probably in the next call or two. But it deals with the fact of God working within us, and it deals with our prayer life and how we perceive ourselves. Because what we're looking at and what we're facing is a breakthrough into a new order of being. And we've talked about that at the site and in the book. I'm not looking for an extra blessing and a little more deliverance, a little more perception and a little more authority. That's not going to get the job done. That's not what you were sent here for. And that is not the promise. The promise is that Christ was the firstborn of many brethren. The promise is that you are kings and priests unto God. The promise is that you shall bruise Satan beneath your feet, and that you will literally be the vehicle through which God subjects every other kingdom of this world. So what is on the plate here? What is on the plate is not some breakthroughs. I'm not looking at having a conference where we all fly in together and meet and discuss what God is doing. I am looking for a change of what we've known our life to be. There is a new order. It's a metamorphosis, the transformation from a worm to a butterfly. I don't want to be a nicely dressed up worm and someone comes along and tapes on a few wings or whatever. I'm looking for the transformation from one order of creation into something new. Behold, I will do something new. And we know that we will be changed. We are changing. We will be changed. We're in this window, this fine line. So what are we contending for? We're contending for the absolute release of that which the Father has sent us in the earth to be and to become. I do not believe the full administration of the kingdom and the authority of Christ that we have is really going to hit the levels of fulfillment and what they're meant to be, without which there's an embodiment of a people that have gone through a spiritual transformation. And what that means on the other side of this, I don't know. I know that we have, like 1 Corinthians 15, we have a body that reflects a soul. I'm looking for the body that reflects our spirit. To me, that is what must happen. And that is where our push and our drive is. Our connection with you is a connection in spirit. Granted, we talk to you on the phone once in a while, but I'm not looking for friends, and you're not looking for friends, and we're not looking for pat one another on the back society, of course. We're looking that we enter into this change and we become a spiritual people that function from our spirit and understand it and experience the oneness, experience the power, experience the translation. You could say the Philip transportation method, and I think perhaps some of us have experienced that to a measure. I know that I have, but it's not quite what I was expecting, and it was only it's just a token of something that is still unfolding, but it's a functioning level that is entirely new. It's like I don't know how to explain it. but you're functioning with your spirit. Now, whether the body follows along, probably not until we get this breakthrough. And then when we get this breakthrough, by all means. But in the interim, there is something of a spiritual functioning that is unfolding, where you literally see with the eyes of your spirit what you're doing, where you're going, what you're ministering to, groups, people. I know I've seen ourselves in England a number of times. I remember ministering to groups very clearly. I remember walking on the street. You could smell the air. You could just feel all the essence. But yet I knew that I was there in spirit. My body wasn't there, but there was a consciousness, and I knew that it was a foretaste. What a word! I know that it was a precursor of something God is going to bring His people into. This is where we are. Lord, help us to move more quickly. Lord, help us to come up another notch in our violence and in our intensity before the Lord. Let's see if there's anything else that Anna and I were talking about this morning. I know that the signs in the thumb have been very interesting, especially this thumb here, my right thumb. The thumb is the area of authority. You read the stories in the Old Testament. They would cut off the thumbs of the kings, and they would pull the signet ring off the finger. But the thumbs were indicative of the authority, and the signs in the thumb have been really, really strong the last week and a half or two. Sometimes it feels like just the whole thumb could come off. So it's been very interesting what is evolving. We've been very careful in what the Lord is doing here with this group of people or spirits, and the requirements seem to be changing a little bit. And I know that, and I think perhaps I've mentioned this recently, that it's not acceptable to go and just read a word or watch a video and then that's it. There's got to be a diligence to connect, communicate, and to do your homework and to pursue it. And I know that of those that initially were interested, it was more of a novelty level of really wanting to learn some more stuff. So here, give me the books. I'd really like to know what you're talking about here with the School of Prophets. And it's evolved. Well, it didn't start off at that level anyway, but it's evolving into something that is more of a living organism that goes beyond the mind on how can you say, well, how have I been grafted into this? Because of what you are in your spirit. Because your spirit knows what's going on. Your spirit knows the calling. Your spirit knows what the Father is bringing your direction, and your spirit is endeavoring on every level to see this happen. The more the soul gets out of the way. So much of what we're doing here, I know that Ann and I talk to you mentally. You know, we're talking on a level of comprehension. But what's really happening is that our spirit is talking to your spirit, and there's an impartation, and there's an unwrapping, there's a clothing that is going on as your spirits receive the impartation of what the Lord is bringing to us, and that is empowering the next levels of change. So it's important that we continue to stay outside of our mind and the analysis of our mind that wants to try and figure it out, because honestly you cannot figure it out. 1 and 1 doesn't equal 2. In this world, in this realm, things aren't as you would perceive them to be. So Anyway, I think that's about it. I just felt the need to kind of ramble here a little bit. I'm looking for the Lord to close the back door accesses. It was at night before last, from 3 in the morning until 9. The assault was so strong. And it was over the sixth chakra, which is between your eyes, this here, and also the eyes. And I knew it was just assault that was trying to come in to a cloud. It eventually broke, but I'm looking, and that's when we just began to really get on our face to say, okay, Lord, what are we missing here? What's going on here in this equation overall that we're not seeing? So I just know that we'll continue to prepare our hearts every time we meet, and that we should have some intense intercession prior to even the call. So individually, we have a time of just moving with faith and authority and dominion to really set, the release. I know what it is to speak from the Spirit and to speak by vision. I know also what it is not to speak that way, where you struggle and you just end up speaking out of your mind to some extent. And I'm not interested in that, no matter how much we might know, to actually relegate it back and say, okay, well, let's just go ahead and pull up. We'll start reading some notes, all which are true, but the spiritual vision tracking being hindered. So we're looking for an open door. We're looking for a flow that will come to Ann and I and to all of you, because it's just all there. The flow, if the flow is happening, then the flow will happen for all of you. If it's happening for us, it will happen for you. If the word's flowing through us, the word will be flowing through you, in you, and to you. And so I think that's about all I've really got to say. Check out that word, and we'll see about putting up another few words. I've been a little bit hesitant about putting up too much more, because we feel as though we need to kind of go back and at least hit the high points on some of the words and books that have already been posted, because it's more important, rather than just throwing out tons of stuff, to really take what we have and let it go deep. So we'll continue to look to the Lord about exactly what He wants to post, what He wants to do. I mean, if it was me, I'd just say, okay, let's just go ahead and schlep out 5 more books and all of the stuff, and here, just read it, But I don't know that would be, in the long run, a real blessing, because we've got to take what He's speaking and we've got to take it down deeper. So I think that's about it. So thank you for listening. I know that I was rambling a little bit here, kind of just reaching, but it's all good. And we'll talk to all of you tomorrow night.